tapping and see. I'm in my element, back in my element. 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 I'm in my. This is easy as a layup. I don't show if you don't pay up. Long nights had to stay up, put in hours while you later. I can sit around and wait up, I'm gon' have to see it later. Giving tips like a waiter, either tell them or you fade them. I'm in my element, back in my element. 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 I'm in my element, don't care about relevance. I'm doing me, I'm in my element. We the new delegate, tapping and see.
All right, all right, all right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you, wherever you are in this beautiful world. Welcome to our Inner Circle Live pre-New York session. I'm your host, Ryan Carthage. We'll be joined shortly by my awesome partner, Mr. Benal. I hope everybody's doing well today on this beautiful Wednesday. As always, let's turn off all distractions, grab a pen and paper, let's take lots of notes, and let's make sure that we participate and engage. And we want to make sure that we start our day off by taking massive action. And that action stands for accepting all possible losses before entering a trade, preparing you for any outcome, setting yourself, body, mind, and spirit, ensuring a balanced approach to trading, trust in your education, strategy, trade skills, and intuition. Imagine your trade successfully materializing, obeying your trading strategy, avoiding decisions based on greed or fear, and never looking back or stopping once your trade has commenced. All right. So let's get straight to it. I got quite a bit to cover this morning from a fundamental perspective. So if everybody can hear me okay, drop me a one in the chat and we will get to it. Good morning, good morning. All right, cool deal. Let's rock. So there we go. All right. UK inflation rate below forecast. Annual inflation in the UK edged up to 2.2% in July from 2% in June, but below the forecast of 2.3. Price of gas and electricity fell much less, but services inflation eased to a two-year low. Of 5.2% compared to June. The CPI edged up 0.2%, edged 2% lower, 0.2% lower. So 0.2%. So overall, right, things are still seen as slowing in the UK from an inflationary perspective. Got an uptick, but overall still down in that 2 to 3% range that everybody seeks. Okay. No additional details there that we necessarily need. Then we had, so this is just looking forward to today, right? The annual inflation rate in the US likely steady to 3% in July, the same as in June, holding at one-year lows compared to the previous month. The CPI is projected to increase 0.2%, rebounding from a 0.1% drop in June, mainly due to an uptick in gas prices. While prices for used cars probably declined, housing rents likely slowed. Meanwhile, core inflation is projected to ease for the fourth consecutive month to 3.2%, getting closer to that 2 to 3% range for the Fed, which likely be the lowest rating since April of 2021, compared to a 3.3% in June. So that's the forecast, right? So we'll see what happens later on today when it comes to those CPI readings. But the expectation is that things are steady, that things are steady. Okay, so we'll continue to track that. Last night, Reserve Bank of New Zealand unexpectedly trimmed its official cash rate by 25 basis points to 5.25% during its meeting, its August meeting, marking the first cut since March 2020, and defying market expectations that the central bank would hold the rate steady for the ninth consecutive meeting. Um, Annual inflation rate in New Zealand slowed to 3.3% second quarter, um, from 4% the previous 3 months. And that was below market forecast of 3.5. All right. This also marked the lowest inflation reading since Q2 of 2021, bringing it back within the 1 to 3% target range for the RBNZ. Um, mm, mm, mm. While imported inflation returned to pre-pandemic levels, services inflation remains high but still expected to decline. Consequently, the Reserve Bank opted to ease monetary policy, with future rate cuts depending on stable inflation expectations and consistent pricing behavior. So that was generally unexpected, right? So we'll take a look at some of those New Zealand pairs and see how the market responded to that decision. Okay, we had some setups yesterday that were in key positions, so we'll take a look at that there. Then another piece. This isn't on either of these, but Prime Minister Kishida is stepping down as Prime Minister in Japan. So it'll be interesting to see who gets elected into that space, but it's being said that that kind of clears the path for the Bank of Japan to raise rates further based on some strategists. So that's something we want to keep our eye on, is how this change impacts Japan overall, um, and what monetary policy normalization looks like going forward. So it's something back of keep in the back of our minds, from a fundamental perspective that could have an impact. And I'll drop this link here. Um, yeah, Joy. One of my accounts was the same way. Yeah, we'll take a look at it though. But yeah, so that's where we are there. And over to the calendar, right? We see that decision yesterday. PPI data came in below expectation for the United States yesterday, right? So we saw the dollar push to the downside a bit further. And then there's a CPI number for the pound. And then headed into today, right? 8:30, we got core CPI data. Those are those expectations that we just talked through. So we'll see how the data comes out and see where things land. Also got crude oil inventories, and then Governor Orr speaking 3 times today at different financial conferences. Oh no, to two different newspapers regarding inflation, and then at the one at 7:10 is on inflation on Bloomberg. So if you hop on to the website, the fundamental section, you can check that out there on Bloomberg TV. And then tonight we got employment rate and unemployment data for Australia. So we'll see how things go there. All right. That is it from a fundamental perspective. Are there any questions or anything that you guys have seen along your journey? No? All right. Um, 1 second, everybody. Benny, good morning, bro.
Ryan, good morning, sir. How are you? How's
I'm
everybody?
do I'm doing well, man. Doing well. Glad to be here. How are you?
Oh man, I'm doing great. I'm through silly season at the university, so yeah,
We made it. We made
yeah,
it.
yeah. We made it, man. So I'm back. I'm back full throttle. But other than that, man, I mean, everything you covered is pretty much spot on. Definitely a surprise last night, right? So
Yeah.
I posted a quick link from Trading Economics when I seen it come up last night, but it gave a quick quick bump. There was some pips to catch there, you
There was
know.
some pips to catch there,
There's a
man.
there's a catch there, man. That's why I posted that article, man. Euro NZD, pound NZD. Was pretty good. Those are the two that I tracked that I was waiting to see move, and they did. So um hey, we came into 2024, hey, interest rate cutting environment, and we're seeing that. We're
Yes,
seeing it
sir.
across the board. One thing I'll say that over the years, it's really a lot of the mystery has been taken out of a lot of things when it comes to trading fundamentally because of the technology, because of the information that's just out there readily available. The fact that a lot of these central banks, besides like the S&B and stuff like that, have become a lot more transparent. Even with like central banks like the Bank of Japan, there was constant speculation, but I mean, how long did we sit there, right? For what, 2 years, and they pretty much held steady. So I'm not even going to say there's a shroud of mystery behind what they're doing,
Mm-hmm.
um, because they held steady for 2 years, and we just watched other currencies versus the yen just continue to go up and up and up and up. So now, no mystery, even when it comes to the stock market. And I know we've been waiting a long time to really delve into, ETFs and things, stuff that we do on the back end. And now we're doing it with the group with ETFs and individual stocks and things like that. There's no mystery. I mean, when you frame the market out the way we set it up in this group, you can see the flows. And you can
Yeah.
see prices in key levels and moving on. So again, combining technicals and fundamentals, it really takes a lot of the mystery out of trading. The rest really comes down to risk management and your trading psychology, your ability to stay patient and either stay in trades or wait for them to set up.
Yep. This is facts. This is facts, man. It really shows that where that focus has to be, right?
Yeah,
It comes back to self.
yeah, it does. I was watching a guy in a group that I follow late last night. He had posted he was mad because he got slipped, but he was the opposite way. I mean, he posted a screenshot of the pound NZD, euro NZD. He was selling, and he got caught in the rate statement. And we just put the question out there, like, man, you didn't know a rate statement was coming.
Right.
With a crazy volatile move like that, there's a lot of stops that are gonna get blown through. Like the systems can't keep up with that. So yeah, you're gonna get slipped and things like that. But just having an understanding, of fundamentals and when things are occurring, especially if you're trading on those lower time frames. Like, come on, man,
It's a must.
come on now.
Those lower time frames are.
Yeah, that's a simple quick peek at an economic calendar. I mean, and there's 50 million sites, including our own, where we have economic calendars posted. You know what I
Yep.
mean? So at this point, there's really, besides, hey, I didn't have prior knowledge, now I do. You know what I mean? There's really no excuse. There's really no excuse.
Yep.
So
Yep.
fundamentals
No, that's
matter,
real.
man. Yep.
They matter all day long, bro. All day long, man. Um, anything else you came across your ticker that caught your eye?
No, man, nothing outside what you covered. I'm interested to
Okay.
see. I'm interested to see if what happens with core CPI today.
Yeah.
We already got one number. I know. I just hope there's no monkey wrench thrown in where this is where we get mixed data. coming off the report. It would be nice for one for everything to kind of just fall in line and flow.
Yeah.
Core CVI follow the PPI, right? Kind of in the same manner, but we'll see what happens. So that's what I'm waiting on today.
Okay, for sure, for sure. And then, if it does come in line, a lot of your analysts and investors are saying that that'll cement that rate cut in place. Uh, so
Indeed. That's why I've got. That's definitely why I've got my eyes on it because it's just like moving forward. You know what's coming.
yep, yep, exactly, exactly. So we shall see come 8:30. We shall see. Cool. Appreciate you, bro. So we'll take a quick peek at the dollar. This is on the 1 hour time frame. We'll come back to the 4. All right, and you see we're just pressing down, right? Back into that 118, 127 zone. We got a previous weekly support level here, and then the daily support level below that, and we're headed back down. So we'll watch and see if these levels get blown through and get to the D extension and continue to press to the downside if that data comes in um, at or below expectation, right? Um, so we'll watch the dollar and see how it responds. But from yesterday, right, and that PPI data started making this move to the downside, we'll see if that CPI data gives that same trend. Okay, so we'll watch that there on the DXY. Um, couple of the one of the setups that I posted yesterday, we'll go take a look at that Euro NZD with that NZD rate statement. All right, we're looking at price coming into that support level right there, 185.64. And you see the reaction, right? Definitely could get a pullback, but you see the strong bullish reaction. So that potentially giving us the start of that swing low there, right, for price to continue moving to the upside. And we got stochastic still in the buy zone on the daily. Okay. Um, we come down to the 4 hour and we're talking about this level here. Excuse the dog toy in the background. And we're talking about price coming down to this level here. And you see, we just got sideways push. We didn't take that A out and we didn't get to that daily support level. It didn't quite get there. So for me, I had a buy limit order at that level on one of my accounts and it missed. So, but price pushed to the upside. So now we look for pullback in continuation to the upside, right? 8-6 retracement here on the 4, matching the extension from a 4 hour perspective, 187. Okay. So we'll look for price to continue making its way to the upside, especially if we get that swing low to form on the daily, right? Which bullish action like this we very well might. Okay. Um, and this is the fib overall here. Okay, so a new fib will pop in at some point. But you see strong move to the upside. So we'll look for a pullback, take back some of that bullish candle at some point, and then a continuation to the upside as that stochastic starts to turn around and push back to the upside. Okay. And then we'll come down to the 1. There was our 80-20 scenario, just barely missed that 118 level. And you see the takeoff there, right? Almost a TP2 on that push yesterday. Okay. So we will track the fibs to the upside from here, right? And we'll watch these moves as price goes. Okay. But moving in our favor, some might have taken that off the 4 hour with price being in the deep retracement zone. Some may have, like me in one of my accounts, put a limit order there, missed. That's cool, right? Wait for a pullback and we can track it off the 4, right? Wait for a pullback and then we'll look for opportunity for that to continue to the upside. Okay. Questions on that Euro NZD? No?
No.
All right. Cool deal. Cool deal. Let's take a look at some of the others. Then you mentioned that pound NZD. We didn't look at that one yesterday. Did we? I don't think we looked at this one yesterday, but overall moving to the upside, right? This is on the daily time frame. Price was pulling back here, testing previous resistance, right? I got a sub fib running here. We'll look at it on the 4, but deep retracement there on the sub fib. We got another swing low that formed here, right? Prime opportunity to look for a buy, and we're starting to get a push back to the upside there, right? And the overall continuation from that 50% retracement. We'll see. And we got some slower data for the pound, but we have the stochastic in the buy zone. We got that swing low to form, right? So we could still see price continue moving to the upside on this one. Okay, so come down to the 4. All right, here's that sub fib there that we're just looking at. B boundary, and there's your push. We're getting the pullback now. So wait for a pullback, and then we'll look for a continuation to the upside there on this one as well. Okay. And then down on the 1, right? You were just hovering at your B boundary, and then there's your takeoff. So once we get this pullback, we can run our fib off the low, track these long now, right? We got our swing on the daily. So let's see if we can get price to come back to the 618-786 retracement levels, right? And that'll be an opportunity to get in this one. If you are not, and if it meets your rules, right? That'll be an opportunity for us to get long there. Okay. So that stochastic on the 1 hour is turned over and it's pushing back down, right? So as that gets into that buy zone, right, we'll see if that lands us in our sweet spot. Okay. So that's the pound NZD. Strong push, pullback, cloud break, all of that, Kumo twist, lagging span above the cloud, right? We got all of our confirmations met on this. Now we're looking for a pullback and a continuation. Joy's in this one. Beautiful, great work.
My TP hit. I had when it pulled back to that low, the previous fib, 886 retracement, I got in there.
Right here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
The
okay.
TP2, yeah.
Nice, great work.
But on
Great
my
work.
Darwin, it pushed down and took me out. I know maybe the spread.
Okay. Got a tighter stop on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I dig that.
Oh,
I dig that. Yeah. But great work though. You enjoyed. Beautiful.
thank you.
Different
Mhm.
sums in the chat for you guys. All right. TP2 achieved. Beautiful. Now we'll look for a pullback. Right. And again, you can track this off the higher time frames as well because we're overall bullish here. So looking for it to continue working its way long. Give me 1 second, everybody. All right, I'm back. Apologize for that. All right, so that's the pound NZD. Let's slide over to the NZD Swiss. All right, we're looking at this one on the 1. We got to push to the upside. Didn't quite get to the D extension there, but this 80-20 is still intact on the 1 hour. Right, we got stochastic pushing back into the buy zone, so we could see a retracement come here, but looking for this one to continue moving to the downside. on this 80-20 on the one. So let's slide back. There's our move there on the daily, right? Stochastic pushing into the sell zone, came into that daily resistance level at that 50% retracement. And you see the push down there. So let's see if we can get some continuation of that move down. Okay, this is our high here. So we'll see how today closes, and then we'll see what happens tomorrow and Friday. See if we get that swing high to form here for continuation move to the downside on this. Right. Overall, looking at that capital fib on the daily, we got to a 382 and we've been pressing down. So let's see if that continues. Okay, let's see if that continues. So then back to the 4. There is your 80-20 on the 4. Took out that A. All right. Just push that 118 level, and then we got a breakdown. So look for a pullback and then continuation to the downside here. Okay. So we'll watch this one as well as it develops. See if we get that continuation. So I'm looking for a pullback on this one. I didn't take this trade, but we'll look for a pullback kind of in this range here, right? Retest that, what is that? 152, 460 area. And then see if we get a continuation to the downside there. Okay. And so then coming back to the one, then this makes sense. Right. And that could also set you up for a little crown action here. Boom. All right. So that is the NZD Swiss. Starting to make its move. Look for that pullback and see if we get that continuation down. Okay. Questions here? No?
No.
All right, cool deal. NZD, USD. Daily time frame, we push through that level. And then you see the turnaround, right? So it took that level out. Previous support didn't quite hold as resistance, push through it. So now let's watch and see how things move, right? We got dollar news. Looking at this overall, right? Been down, as we talked about, right? So let's see stochastic in the sell zone. Let's see what happens here. Do we get some consolidation for a minute and then press back down, right? So we'll see what happens with the dollar data today. But coming down to the 4, right? You see we finished out, got to that D extension, and then you got the turnover, right? So strong bearish action. We'll look for a pullback and a continuation to the downside here. Once that swing high forms, actually it did. So that's your new fib there. That's your new fib there. Didn't pop in, right? Strong action there. But, excuse me, similar looking for this type of action here. Okay. And then back to your 1. There's your AB boundary on the 1. Didn't quite get to that 118 level for the 80-20, but there's your breakdown. Okay, so looking for a continuation to the downside here as well. Obviously, we'll watch the data and see what happens. But at least in the short term, look for price to continue moving down. Then that says she's innocent to the down, to the NZD switch to the downside on 80-20. Beautiful. Great work. Great work. Catching all of them. Her enjoy. Great work. Great work. Let's look at NZD CAD. Look at that. Look at that. Beautiful. That's on year one. Got to that D extension. We took out that previous high. We'll go back to the daily, but beautiful 80-20, right? Right in line with fundamentals. Right in line with the fundamentals.
That moved fast. I was looking at that last night and I was like, I'll wait until it break, but missed that.
Yeah. 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 No, it definitely took off. Definitely took off. Um, Back on the daily, right? Overall, this move was also down, right? 786 retracement down, right? We're talking about getting a retracement and then seeing if we get a continuation to the downside here. And that's what we got, right? So we'll see if this is able to continue. We got stochastic in the sell zone as well. Okay, so we come down to the 4, right? And we're looking at, I was looking at price staying inside this AB boundary, which it didn't do, right? We just pushed up, took out that A, but we got to the D extension on the sub fib and then price turned over, right? And so now same scenario. We'll see if we get this type of action. Okay. Pull back and continuation to the downside. All right. So we'll watch that and see how it develops over time. But yeah, down. Okay. Boom. All right. So we'll continue to watch that NZD CAD, NZD JPY. Breakdown, 80-20. Didn't quite push to that level, got to that 118 level, breakdown. Over and over and over again, man. Over and over and over again. So there's your capital fib here. So this one will be interesting to follow. We got stochastic in the sell zone, right? We broke these key levels, came back to retest those levels, right? Came back to retest those levels here. I'll take this out for a second. Right? See if we get a continuation to the downside here. If we get price to turn over, give us a swing high, right? And see a stochastic push to the downside with price. Get a deeper move into the zone, potentially coming back to $81. All right, so we'll watch that and see how it evolves as well. So to the 4, and I had this fib running off the low. Boom. Just missed the D extension there, but we turned over. All right, so similar scenario to the others. Strong bearish action. Look for a pullback and a continuation. We'll see what happens with the BOJ and some of those developments there. Let's see if that also adds to the catalyst here. But we'll see if we get that action. Questions on the NZD JPY?
No.
We'll do. We talked about oil, right? Didn't get that push into the 118, 127 zone. We're starting to get that retracement now, though. All right, that's the retracement we were looking for. We broke through that previous high where we said, okay, it could stall there, right? And we're pressing deeper into the zone. So let's see on this pullback, right? If we get price to come down into the sweet spot and turn over and give us that crown action. Okay, so we're getting that retracement now that we're looking for. All right, same on the 4 here, right? Took out that previous high, previous A. Boom, stochastic is pushing into the buy zone now, right? We'll look to see if we get a deeper retracement though. Okay. Then coming to the daily. Stochastic is in the sell zone right now, so we could see this turnover here. Right? At least in the short term. Okay, I walked that one backwards, but just wanted to check it out. Oil's retracing. Middle East, um, Israel shot some missiles into Tel Aviv. No casualties. Countries are working on a ceasefire. So that's what's happening from that perspective. So things are a little bit slower there as far as the impact goes. There wasn't any major impact as of yet. So we'll continue to monitor that and see how that also impacts oil. But anytime they talk about a ceasefire, you'll also see oil pull back. There's also demand concerns. So we'll see what the oil inventory looks like as well today, right? That could also give us some insight on how this price moves here in the short term and what that forecast looks like as OPEC plus has extended those cuts to October. So we'll watch that there from oil, but this is what we expected, and then we'll see if we get price to turn over. Okay. Let's check in on this pound Aussie. See how it's responding. And not much. Just sideways. There's our 80-20 scenario there, right? We pushed down deeper into that zone and we're just moving straight sideways here. So we continue to monitor this one. And allow it to do what it's going to do. It's going to hit your stop loss. It's going to hit your take profit level, right? With that data coming out of the UK, right? It kind of pushed things back down to the downside. Excuse me. Push things back down to the downside a bit, but things are trying to turn over and push back long. So we'll continue to monitor this and as it develops. But we got Australian data coming tonight that could also give us a catalyst and see if price pushes to the upside off this support level. Okay. So that's it there. Not a ton doing on that one. And the Aussie Swiss, we're still lingering in the zone here. Okay. 86 retracement on the daily. We'll see how this candle closes. If that gives us the swing high here, pushed bullish. So we'll watch that. But stochastic is pushing deeper into the overbought territory. Okay. On the 4, right? Still lingering below that level. 786 retracement. We'll see if we get that move down. And then back to the 1, 80-20 here. Pushed up into the zone there. Pulled back. See if we can get a nice bearish break and a move to the downside here. So we'll continue to monitor this one as well and see how price moves. Okay.
That was a high probability setup there. What was that? The 4-hour that we saw that pin bar?
On that Aussie Swiss. No, that was on the daily. Right.
Yeah.
Yep. So definitely watching this. And I did take a small position yesterday. So watching that one and allowing it to do its thing there. Yes, ma'am. All right. I want to take a look at some of these yens just to see. I know I looked at the Aussie yen yesterday. Still pressing to the upside. Let's see. Yeah, so it's still lingering in that zone, right? Starting to try to get range bound a bit. So not a ton of this Aussie yen, but still looking for another push to the upside to get to the D extension. And then we'll see how things move from there. We'll see how the market responds to Prime Minister stepping down as well. Might not be an immediate reaction, but just monitoring that over the long term. We'll see what happens.
Right. What was that previous pair? NZD.
That was the Aussie yen.
The one with the pin bar. Okay.
Oh no, the one with the pin bar was the pound Aussie.
Oh, okay, thanks.
No. I'm sorry. No, it wasn't. Pause. No, it was not. It was the
Okay, thank you.
Aussie Swiss. I'm sorry. Aussie Swiss. Yeah, Aussie Swiss. Um, so Cadian, all right, pressing to the upside. Still looking for more bullish action to come. Again, on these, I am looking for these yens to come back to these levels, right? So some of you may be in these already with these swing lows to form, right? You got stochastic pushing back into the sell zone, so we could see a pullback and then a continuation long. So I am looking for these to continue moving north in the short term. I mean, in the long term, but just monitoring them as they come into some previous key levels, right? Looking for pullbacks and continuations to the upside until we get some news out of Japan, right? There's supposed to be a meeting next week with Governor Ueda to discuss monetary policy and the Bank of Japan's plans and decisions. So we'll see how things move going into that meeting. But you see, right, we're still just pressing to the upside, right? Moving slow motion, but still long overall. Okay. So that's the CAD yen, not a ton there. Swiss yen, this one could potentially be interesting. You see, we got a push yesterday, right? We pushed back down into the zone, and then we took off, broke back above the cloud. Overall, just been range bound on the one, but looking for this to also come back to these higher levels. Okay. This is what it looks like on the daily. Okay, so looking for this to turn over and push back long. Okay. And here I have this crown pattern mapped out. Let's see if this type of action comes. Right, see if we get back to 174, 75. Okay, so looking for these yens to push long. Definitely some opportunities, I think, to get long on some of these, right? Playing those daily swing lows and allowing price to run a little bit, right? So here you are there. And you'll see some more back and forth action. Like I said, you might get another pull down, still staying above that swing low, and then looking for price to make its way to the upside. That's the Swiss yen. Quick look. Euro yen. Right, they're all in these same positions. Same positions. Swing lows and moving to the upside. So look for that to continue. The one that I do have a position on currently is this pound yen. Watching this move to the upside as well. Okay, off that daily swing low, and we're pressing long. So all moving north. We'll see how things develop. They are coming into some key positions on the 4, but I think overall we'll still see moves long on these. Okay. Questions on any of the ends? No. Okay, cool. Let's take a look at euro dollar. Euro dollar pressing long. That's gone. There's our support. And there's that swing low. Look at it. Boom. I was looking for it to come back down into this zone, but didn't quite get that. All right. And we're taking back off to the upside. Okay. So what we will do here. I'll wait there. Come here to the 4. Took out that previous A. And now we're moving along. I think that is the capital there.
My bias for this pair is to the downside. I guess I should get over myself.
Well, it's an interesting situation, right? Because you got the ECB that already cut rates, and now they're holding. You got the Fed potentially getting ready to cut rates. So both of them are cutting rates. Is just about kind of what else happens within that. My bias on this overall is down as well. I think it's just a matter of when we get there, as opposed to if. But if you come back to your higher time frames and look at it, right, you're still right. You're still in your 118, 127 zone on the weekly, right? We're pressing back to the upside, trying to take out this weekly high, and we got another high coming here. Okay. Um, Overall, my bias is down as well, especially if we get more risk off appetite in the future, whichever way it comes, be it war, be it growth concerns and recession, if that conversation pops back up, right? My bias on this is down as well, but overall over the long term. But it's just a matter of when we get there, right? And so we could continue pressing to the upside back to 111, maybe even come back and give us a double top in 112. So I'm just monitoring it. I'm not in anything right now. Just I'm really looking at the fundamentals on it just to see what causes a shift, right? And even here we got some divergence happening, right? Stochastic moving down, price moving up. So we'll see if we get in a line and push back to the upside and get back into the buy zone on the stochastic. But you see, right, we're coming into these key levels here. Okay. Um, So it'll be interesting to see where price goes, right, as it continues to evolve. There you go. Okay. Just shy of a 618 retracement, matching extension is in that 111 range. So it wouldn't surprise me if we do get price to push back up here, especially if the dollar continues to push to the downside. We get CPI to come in at or below expectation, right? You can see that continue to rise. So, and then we'll see what happens after that with the euro. Um, bu- 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 yeah, but so we hit a D extension there. Didn't get that 80-20 to play out. Couldn't break below this previous daily level, and we're pressing back to the upside. So, um, I wouldn't be surprised, like I said, if we get to 111.50, and then we'll see kind of what transpires from there. Take this out. Down on our 1. Right, that last push up got us to a D extension, so we're waiting on a new AB boundary to form, which could look something like that. Okay. So we'll continue to monitor and see how things move. But right now, we could just see pullbacks, maybe even shallow retracements and continuations to the upside on this. Especially if folks continue to look forward to Fed rate cuts. Right. So we'll watch and see there. But that's the dollar, the euro dollar, the pound dollar also pushing to the upside. Right. We got stochastic pushing back into the sell zone there. We had the swing low to form here, right? So just looking at these swing lows as price is moving, it's powerful, right? Right in line with that stochastic taking off. And so now we're getting a little bit of a pullback, but is it a pullback for a continuation to the upside there? Okay. This is another one where we just missed that 382, right? But we could continue pushing to the upside, getting at least to this daily level, but even further to that monthly level there before we see a reaction. So as we come down to the 4 here, we didn't get that move. And this was just all choppy here on that reversal. So we'll run our fibs long. Boom. Right. And we'll just look for pullbacks and continue. Well, I'm looking for pullbacks and continuations on this one. If that CPI data comes in line with the estimates. So that is where we are. Man, that was a beautiful 80-20 there. Yeah. So we'll watch that. There, down on the 1. Still inside the AB boundary, but I'm going to run the fib off the low in line with that swing low. We got our cloud break and we're moving long. Here on the 1, we got a 618 retracement and look for price to continue to push. So not a ton there on the pound dollar. Okay. Then I talked about the Euro Swissy yesterday. And you see things are running long on the Swiss for the most part. Getting to some higher levels, right? We broke down below these support levels. Okay. Got stochastic pushing back into the sell zone, deep in the zone here, right? But we could continue to press long against the Swiss unless something changes. But overall, just been long, swing low, moving long. So we'll wait for a reversal in price. The Euro Swissy done it.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see what happens here. We'll see what happens here. It's been a beautiful move to the upside, right? So as we get into some of these higher levels, deeper in the zone on the daily and on the 4, we'll see if things change from a fundamental perspective, right? If there's something that gives us a risk-off appetite, right? That's really what I'm looking for from a fundamental perspective. The data kind of is the data, right? We know where the ECB is. We kind of have an idea where the Fed is, especially if the CPI comes in line with expectation. We know where the Swissy is from a fundamental perspective, right? They're cutting rates. And so now what else adds to the story, right? Do we get something that puts us into a risk-off scenario? War, recession fears, things like that. So that's what I'm looking for on the fundamental side, if there's any cues there that add additional details to the story. And if not, we'll see this just continue to run up, right? So we'll watch that and see. And then on the 1, right, 50% retracement, matching the extension is at 95.9. So we could see this continue to trek up for a little bit. So we'll watch and see as we get to some of these higher levels. Okay.
Right. On the 4 hour, that up fib was is it 80-20?
Right there. Okay, I like that. So pullback, at least a pullback potentially, and then maybe pullback continuation. We'll see. I like that. I like that alignment there. So we'll watch and see what we get. Action like that. I like it. I like it. I like it. And you got the daily moving into the sell zone. So makes sense. Makes sense. We shall see. We shall see. So that is the Euro Swissy. Any other thoughts or questions on this one?
Yeah, just wait.
Nope.
Yep, just waiting patiently. Waiting patiently. All right. And then let's see what this EuroCAD is on. Yep, move back to the upside. I missed this one on the buy, but got the nice pull down, right? And then you see the takeoff back to the upside. Swing low form. You see here, right? You had this deep push, and even as price continued to push down, it didn't take out the low. And the swing low formed on that close of that candle, and then the push. Right? Stochastic still in the buy zone here. So we could see this continue to run. And then break and retest continuation. So we'll watch this. See if we're able to get above this level here. What does this look like? And there's your C to D swing there. 618 retracement, just missed that 786 level. Boom. That's gonna be nice. All right, so we likely could break this B boundary unless we get a crazy double top. But we could be in for a 154 level on this Euro CAD. That will be interesting. That will definitely be interesting. So that'll put us on a monthly. Now we got to a 382. It's going to be interesting if we break this level. It definitely will, because then we're headed to these higher levels here. On the daily, we don't have a 382. On the weekly, we don't have a 382 either, which is why this kind of intrigues me, right? How far does this push? How far does this push? Okay, do we get the double top here, or do we blow through it and continue moving to the upside? Okay. Beautiful 80-20 here. Just missed the D extension. Got our consolidation. Take off. Beautiful scenario. Beautiful. So that's the Euro CAD moving along. K's in this one. Beautiful. Great work, K. Great work catching that. Love it. Love it. I love it. I love it. So let's see. Let's see, right? But daily support, swing low, 80-20, right? All in alignment. Cloud break, retest,
Albert was
continuation.
sweet.
It was beautiful, wasn't it? Beautiful. Beautiful. All right, that's awesome. 131 pips. Beautiful. Benny, you got any other pairs you got your eyes on, bro?
Just the indices mainly, right? Because they've all been moving. So I'm interested to see. I know like the Russell, the Dow, the S&P, the Nikkei, right? They've all moved to the upside, right? They've all moved to the upside for the most part. So I'm interested to see what happens with the CPI data this morning to see if it just causes the market to continue to rally. But you can see how we've recovered off the lows, everybody.
Yep. Crazy recovery. Look at that. There was a swing low, takeoff. Yeah, so I'm interested to see where these go to. This last fib didn't pop in. I'm interested to see where these go to, right? 618 retracement, 59.5. We'll see. We'll see. That's the S&P 500.
The weekly on this, I was just because we had such a strong that rejection there was so strong.
Yeah,
To sell it is just I don't know.
yeah.
The
This
lower time frame is
confirms.
definitely say to sell, but I don't know if we're gonna get that.
We may not like that. Definitely, I hadn't looked at this week. It was definitely a strong rejection. With the stochastic moving into the buy zone, so we could see this continue to carry. Definitely could see this continue to carry. Right? Maybe a double top, but six thousand isn't wild when you look at it. So this would be interesting. This will definitely be interesting. Wow. Yeah. So definitely might not get my thoughts here. Everything is moving along. Maybe we get a retracement, but not a full turnover. We'll see. Let's see what happens here. So all stochastics in the buy zone, so we could continue to rise. Maybe a small pullback, but we'll see what that data says in an hour. See if the data says in an hour. That's 30. Right, running long. Running long. Again, maybe we get a small pullback, shallow retracement, and then continuation to the upside. All right, so 40,000 and that D extension there on the one. Let's come back. And this is where we are on the 4. 786 retracement, right? So these highs make sense. 127 extension. We're moving there, and it makes sense, right? That's where we broke out to the downside and strong bearish action. Come back to retest these zones. See what happens when price gets here.
That's right back into TP. That the T extension, right? Yeah.
Yep. Yep. Right back into that daily D extension. I mean that 4-hour D extension there. Yep. 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 This shall be interesting, you guys. We'll see what this data says. That's that, and then running long. Broke through that level, continue to push. We'll see what happens at 19,575. That's on the 1. Coming back to the 4. That's the A boundary. Yep, yep, yep. See what happens here. Took out the A, pull back. Let's see, good people. Let's see. But like Benny said, run into the upside, swing low forward, and we're taking off. This data will be interesting today. He said the Russell also. Um, what's the symbol on that?
Give me a second. I'll pull it up.
Yeah, I did take a quick look at the Swiss yen on that. Oh, Benny's pulling up that Russell. This is where we sit on that, right? Looking for on these yens, price continue moving long. We do got stochastic in the sell zone here. But we got a 618 retracement. We got that swing low to form. Overall, I am looking for price to continue to rise on these yens. Make it back and take back some of this bearish action that it gave, and then we'll see if we get a turnover. So here on the 4, right, potential for this crown pattern here if we get back to this 175 area. Okay. And so then down on the 1, you got your deep retracement here. You got a cloud break pulled back right now. Looking to see if we get price to continue moving long here.
Yeah, okay, good. I'm in the buy, so that's good.
Yep. On the same page. On the same page. Look at Aussie Swiss is starting to move a little bit.
So you want to type in US 2000 for your Russell.
US 2000.
My bad, I wasn't in my
No, you're fine.
I was upstairs.
I appreciate you. Yeah, I never would have found that. um, okay. We're just gonna look at the price action here. Haven't marked this one up, but the same as the rest, right? Daily swing low. Boom. Similar opportunity when you get back to these highs here. Down to the 4. Oh, look at that. Boom. So we'll see that continue to rise. Soon we'll get to that 618 retracement area and a little bit deeper. We'll see what happens. But let's move along. As Benny said, right? So here we are on the 1. You also had an 80-20 there. Move up. All right.
There's another one too I was telling you about. That SMH, that semiconductor ETF.
Yeah.
That's really tracking well to the upside.
Ooh.
Tell you, man, we could trade, guys. We could trade anything with the framework that we teach. Trade anything, right? It's a really good consistent approach to the market, right? So that's running bullish. You know, that fibs running to the upside. If you look at the daily, you look at the daily support, swing low is coming right off of that, right? Same thing over and over again. Just had to be patient.
Just got to be patient. Just got to be patient. Look at that. Look at that.
Benny, what is the Russell 2000 considered like in terms of categories? Is it a index? Trying to find it on the Darwin.
It's an index. Oh, on the Darwin, it's I'll tell you what it is. It's NDX. It's definitely different. It's an index for sure.
Yeah, okay.
So those
Maybe
are
it's on the
your
other one.
it's NDX. Those are your your small cap US stocks. So it's
Yeah,
the small
NDX, US Tech
yeah.
100.
What'd you say?
It
Hold
listed
on.
as US Tech 100.
Oh, that's the Nasdaq. Hold on, I'll find out what it is for you because I had it. I looked at the wrong thing because it's definitely labeled. It's labeled different. So I'll find it for you.
Thank you.
Yeah, because the Russell's the 2000. That's your small cap, smallest 2000 stocks, right? So I'll find out what it is again. I'll look at.
It
I
looks
could
like
go
they
and
got
look at my
ETFs on the
MT4.
Russell. Cool beans. All right, good people. Any other questions?
Yeah, I think Ryan is right. It's on the ETFs. There's a lot of them.
Okay.
Gold, got you, Joy. Moving along. Come back daily. Right, 50% retracement. Got a bunch of hodgepodge here, but overall we're moving to the upside. Respecting the trend line, moving long. All right, so come back to that 4 hour and all the noise here. Run the fib off the low, and that's where you are. B boundary. All right, push it to the upside. Still looking at 2600. All right, still looking at price getting to 2600. And so on this one, just looking for pullbacks and continuations. Pullbacks and continuations. So just come down to the one. All right, you got an 80-20 here on your one. All right. So maybe we get a pullback here. We'll see. All right, we got data coming up 45 minutes. But maybe you get a pullback here, but maybe you don't. Right. If you get that pullback, then I'm looking for buying opportunities on that.
Gold is tricky.
Yes. Yes, in on lower time frames. Looking at the big picture is moving to the upside. And then these are the things that we haven't necessarily talked about a lot, but since 2022, all of your central banks have bought more gold than they've ever bought in history. Think about that. They bought more gold than they've ever bought in history. And you come back and look at the chart, and this is when they started buying gold. Your central banks. Right here. November 2022. And it's just been rising. And they're still buying at rapid paces. They're still buying at rapid paces. So in the short term, yeah, it can fluctuate crazy. But when you look at it from a larger scale, even looking at it just from a fib perspective, we're long. We're long. Kind of just like that yen, right? All these pullbacks are just continuations to the upside. So looking for price to get to 2637. All
Can
right.
you
It's just
zoom out
a
real
matter
quick
of
on your four?
when, not if. On the four,
Mm-hmm. I mean, up at the top where
it's just range bound right now. You're trapped in this area here. All right. So maybe we come back down, but we've been respecting this trend line, right? So if we get a pullback, we'll see if price respects that trend line and continues moving to the upside. If we break that trend line, we'll just look for the bottom of the range, right? And we could stay range bound for a little bit. But yeah, and even with that scenario, I'd be looking for a low price to get long. China, yep. Yep.
I was looking at your stochastic. I was
On
looking
the
at the
buy zone.
misalignment. Yeah, because I thought I had a head and shoulders at first. I had my charts had reset. And I was trying to see whether or not this was gonna play off support.
I got you.
Because it was a head and shoulders in there somewhere. Maybe it was on the one. But I got you. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. But yeah, so we'll watch this and see. We'll watch and see. But like I said, I'm looking for low prices to get long on gold. All right. And this even goes deeper than these charts, looking at other investments, right? You can do just what the central banks are doing. You can go buy physical gold, right? But that's long. That's long. So we'll see. We'll look at price when it gets to 2,600 and then see if we get something to change. And then from a larger scale, we're looking at pullbacks and continuations as well, I believe. Yep. So let's go. Any other questions before we wrap it up? Yeah, it can be. It can be for sure. You can buy kind of like fractions of bars. There's some organizations that mints. There's one out of Canada that I know of that you can buy fractions of until you get to whole bars. But I know people that have traveled to different countries to buy gold. So it's definitely it's a thing. It's a thing. So we'll see how fundamentals continue to evolve. But yeah, it's moving. Um, yeah. The people that I know, they've gone to Africa. They've gone to Africa to get theirs. So we'll see. We'll see. We'll continue to monitor and see. And we'll continue to monitor the fundamentals behind it as well and see what happens. Benny, anything before we wrap it up, bro?
Not much, man. Continue to watch the ETFs, the technology, right? ETF XLK is up 3% today. And then your XLY, your consumer discretionary, is up 2.5%. So just check them out from the daily level. Swing lows formed, and they are moving. They are moving in a bullish direction. So we'll see what happens after the news. Hopefully, we get CPI right. The show is coming down, and we continue to get a rally right in those positions. So that's
Run
it,
those
man.
back again. XLK and what?
XLY, right? So your XLK, right? When you talk about your ETFs, is your technology sector, right? So your tech stocks. So when we looked at everything flows, right? So this is how you really can pick the market off. So your XLK is your technology sector ETF, right? And then we looked at the SMH, right? Semiconductor ETF. All right, that's all tech. Your consumer discretionary, right? Your XLY is up 2.5% today. Right? Everything flows within our framework, right? So that's XLK, XLY, right? What else is slightly up today? Healthcare is up 1.2%. That's XLV. Okay. So we'll dig more into them. But I really want to bring those to the forefront, and get them, from the back end, trade them in my own account and put them out for all of us, right? We've all had plenty of training now, right? We want to make sure that we diversify, right? So we can move beyond currencies. Okay. So I hope everybody's okay with that.
Yes, sir.
What was the one that you did before, Ryan?
XLK.
XL. No, the one that you did just after the US, Russell.
Oh, that was what was a semiconductor, Benny? SMH.
Oh, SMH,
SMH. Okay, cool.
right? Semiconductor. It's a semiconductor ETF.
Appreciate you, bro. All right, good people. We will be back at it tomorrow. tomorrow morning, 6:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time with my awesome partner, Mr. Benny Allen. You guys have a phenomenal Wednesday. We'll talk then.